Hey there, how you doing? Charlie Winters here with horse racing and football tips for Saturday the 30th of August. Well, I wasn't going to do a video for today, but I'm doing one now. So I'm literally going to tell you the selections. I'm running a bit late. Well, I'm not running late, I'm a bit busy. So let me get into it. So it's a 5 pence each way Goliath. I'm sorry if you can hear the washing machine in the background, but I'm watching a chicken that's on the back garden and I don't really want to take my eye off it. I live near a woods or a forest and we don't want any foxes on the way, even though it's daylight. We've still had some foxes about 1 or 2 o'clock. So if you can do me a quick favour before I start the video, you can give me a quick like. That's all I ask, is a quick like. No subscription fee, just a quick like, just to say thanks. So let me get into it. So as I said, very brief. If you look at the selection or like the look of the race, take a look at my selection, see if you fancy it. Don't just back it blind. So the first selection is Dawn of Liberation in the 130 at Beverley. I looked at a number of these. Originally, the selection was a different one, but there was a non-runner just literally as I was watching looking at the form. So the non-runner was, or is, Crown of Oaks, and it was 10 to 11 apparently, according to the Racing Post. So originally I was going to go for Desert Shadow because it was about 6 to 1 apparently. I don't know if it was ever 6 to 1, but according to the Racing Post, best odds it was. Desert Shadow, the problem is I can't touch it with Kevin Stott on board. I think it's got a chance. It ran well after ran well after a gelding operation. So maybe it's had a kick up the backside and told to concentrate basically. Joanna Mason riding the favourite, that's interesting. She's got a number of good mounts today, but I've swerved some of them because I just don't fancy them enough. Although I think the jockey's an absolute cracker. Financer, definitely got a chance. It's Tim Easterby. Scroll down to, I did like the look of Tisham, but I just find it a little bit inconsistent. If it had been more rain, possibly might have gone for it. But Dawn of Liberation is a fancy. It's 20 to 1, and I think it's got an obvious chance. I think they pulled a bit of a crafty one last time. So what happened last time was, in my opinion, the best runs of this horse have been when it's midfield or held up further back. Last time it made the run in a 3-runner race and finished basically a long way behind. I think that run was just a racecourse gallop, and I think if this horse is held up, it's got every chance. Ruth Carr doesn't leave decent prize money behind. She might not always win the race, but horses always seem to run better when there's big bucks knocking around. It's 20 to 1. I think there's 16 grand up for the winner. Not very often you see that at Beverley. Second selection is Glen Finnan in the 150 at Sandown, and it's 9 to 1. And I've taken the price of this one. I know I said I weren't talking you through it, but why not now? I've clicked on the race because it gives me a quick, well, hopefully if it loads up, gives me a quick refresher of why I picked it. So Glen Finnan, it's 7 furlongs at Sandown, and it's soft ground. That's it. This horse won the race last year. I just think it's got a chance. Michael Dodds is just beginning to run into a little bit of form. Well, just as the season's heading towards like the Air, Gold, Silver and Bronze Cup meetings towards, I think it's September time. So I think he'll have a good back end of the year. He's been pretty quiet most of the season, apart from probably he's just kicked on a bit from mid-August. So I think he's got an obvious chance. Don't get me wrong, it's had plenty of runs, but I don't care less about the amount of duck eggs at the side of its name. It doesn't matter in these handicaps half the time, especially when, and I'm not on about myself so much, but when you can read in between the lines, I think you can easily discount these duck eggs. The next selection is in the, I can never work this out now. Yeah, that's it. So Fairpoint in the 225 at Sandown. I'm not going to go into this one. Take a look for yourself. The next selection is Mustazid in the 3 o'clock at Sandown. To be fair, I do prefer the handicap, so I'll just click on this one. So Mustazid, I did like the look of it. There's an awful lot of horses. That's it. It's ran twice, and this horse loves soft ground. It's behind on form. It's behind on current form, but it's only run twice, so clearly for me they've been waiting for the slower ground. I think it's got an obvious chance just by elimination. To be fair, there's quite a few of these, or some of these, have had long seasons. There you've got Jeff Koons for a start, 11-1, but it's had several runs. I did like, or do like, the look of Dangerman. There is a line of form with that horse, so the original Siberian, Said bin Saror trained horse. 1 second. The one with Kevin Stott on board at Beverley in the first race finished second behind Danger Man, but Danger Man won easy that day. So if that one wins or runs well, I'd expect the Danger Man form obviously gets complemented, but Danger Man still needs to improve or head in the right direction to win this race. I just think it's a progressive horse. The next selection is Yennefer in the 3:15 at Chester, and basically this horse loves Chester. Generally runs well here, but has run well in the past, has disappointed slightly in the past. Yennefer ran in this race last year. It came fifth. I think it's got a better chance this year. The paying 4 places, I just think it's got a chance. I think it's £1 lower than when it run in this race last year. I'm not sure, but I always like it when they return and run in the corresponding race again the following year. The next selection is He's Walim in the 3:35 at Sandown. I've only gone for this purely for the fact that this horse could be anything. If it goes to the front, it only knows how to win so far. Don't get me wrong, and it's inexperienced, and it's only ran once, and it's only won once, but we don't know how good it is. So if it goes to the front, it may catch some of the others out. And I think last time I saw it, I'm sure about 6s or 7s. Don't get me wrong, extremely inexperienced, steps up to Group 3 company after only winning, well, I say only winning, it won very well last time. I think it won by 6 lengths, and it was a further 3 lengths back to the other horse. And it won by 6 lengths that day against previous horses that had run previously. But I always put a big thing on experience. The next selection is Bonnie's Boy in the 4:25 at Chester. This was Richard Farhey, and it's just got an obvious chance. Right, this is the horse I really like the look of, and you've got all that quality racing, and I go for amateur riders handicap at Lingfield. Faster B is extremely well handicapped. I think this horse is turning into an all-weather horse, and that's probably only because it's been disappointed for a long time on the turf. It swapped hands. I can't remember who it came from, but it's now with Fergal O'Brien. So this horse, it ran a decent race on its debut for Fergal O'Brien at Wolverhampton. I think that run on its own is enough to come placed. Since then, it's done nothing, but I think it's ran 3 or 4 times on the turf. If this horse is beginning to get like a real distaste for the turf, you've now got a very well handicapped horse. Don't quote me because it's from memory, but I think it ran off something like 63 on its debut for Fergal O'Brien. I think, don't quote me, have a look for yourself. I think it's now off 54, and I think that handicap mark has plummeted because it's been running on the turf and not been running very well because it doesn't want the turf. I could be wrong. It could just be on the decline. But I do like the look of it. Can't remember exactly who's on board. But the jockey, I'll click on it, the jockey has ridden it all 4 times. And last time I saw it here, I say it had drifted. When I saw it, it was actually 9, which you can see there. That Miss Remy Morgan, she actually has ridden it all 4 times, or 5 times, depending on how many times it's ran for Fergal O'Brien. So the red and yellow colours look a bit familiar. I don't know if it's the No Felis Syndicate. I don't know. I can't remember. But that's irrelevant. So, yeah, Faster Beat, I think it's got a decent chance. I just think it's ridiculously well handicapped, especially from the previous trainer as well, because I'm sure it was rated in the late 60s to 70s for the previous trainer. And now it's plummeted. And I find it interesting the fact that Fergal O'Brien actually trains it now. So they must have seen something at the sales or whatever it was, or whether the owner just took it out of the yard and sent it to him. I just think maybe they need to freshen it up, and I don't know. I just think it's got an obvious chance. So that's the horse racing. Let me get on to the football. So these are based on my anti-post bets. It's a £7.30 because that enters my account, the 30p does. £7.30, over 2.5 goals. So I want Lincoln to beat Mansfield anyway, but that's not the bet. I want over 2.5 goals double. Both of these are 11 to 10. So it's Lincoln versus Mansfield and Tranmere versus Notts County, over 2.5 goals double, £7.30, and then just to top it up, a £3 over 3.5 goals double, Lincoln versus Mansfield and Tranmere versus Notts County. That is the entire day's bets. That's, what's that then? We're at 24.70? 24.70. £35 exactly. So I wish you the very best of luck. Let me know if you have any of the selections. Let me know your own selections. You can give the video a like. I would really appreciate it. So the very best of luck. Charlie Winters, over and out. Cheers, mate.